Good day, everybody. Ooh, I forgot the light. Ah, good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought number 1696 with a repeat of Millennial Samurai Sunday, Book One, A Mindset for the 21st Century by George J. Chanos. We are going to have him on the weekends for the time being. This is a large book, so it's a long book, so we will be able to read through it at about the same pace as everybody else's books go for one time a week. Anyway, we're, words, morsels of a thought are meant to give you thoughts of wisdom. Knowing the right thing to do in your life is a form of wisdom, and taking the action and doing it is committing acts of virtue. I'm trying to bring more virtue into this world, and we're doing it a morsel of a thought at a time, morsels of a thought at a time. Excuse me, I just ate some nuts. So I'm kind of going the extra mile. We're going the extra mile. If you are going to do something, do it well or don't do it at all. Performing poorly will ultimately cost you your job, your customers, and possibly your business. Conversely, performing well will improve the performance of the business and thereby provide increased job security for you and your coworkers. It may also lead to increased personal and professional opportunities. Exceptional performance shows commitment. It demonstrates leadership potential and normally leads to advancement and additional career opportunities. In The Habit of Going the Extra Mile, author Napoleon Hill describes going the extra mile as the rendering of more and better service than anyone expects and giving that service with a positive attitude. He explains the many benefits of this approach. One chief benefit is the fact that it enables you to profit by the law of contrast because the majority of people do not practice the habit. Hill goes on to point out that going the extra mile provides the only logical reason for asking for increased compensation. He explains that if an employee performs no more service than what he is being paid to do, then he is receiving all the pay he is entitled to. Instead of asking for a raise, ask your employer how you can do more for the company. By demonstrating a high level of commitment, you are more likely to attract increased responsibilities and a raise. The Habit of Going the Extra Mile is a 12-page essay written by a man some call the architect of the philosophy of success. Hill spent most of his life studying and writing about the most successful entrepreneurs in American history. His most famous work, Think and Grow Rich, 1937, is one of the best-selling books of all time, with over 70 million copies sold. All his works are well worth reading. True commitment, regardless of the endeavor, is absolutely essential not only to the business you work for, but to your potential success as well. Commitment can be declared by words, but evidence of commitment can only be found in your actions. Andrew Carnegie, American industrialist and philanthropist, said, as I grow older, I pay less attention to what men say. I just watch what they do. Whatever you choose to do it well. Be committed. Millennial Samurai, go the extra mile. Consumerism. Will Rogers, American actor, humorist, and social commentator. We go through life spending money that we haven't earned to buy things that we don't need to impress people that we don't care about. Why? because we have been programmed by the millions of advertising and marketing messages we receive over our lifetimes to believe that consumerism is our path to happiness. Advertising and marketing are effective. That's why companies spend billions of dollars on them. Advertisements are designed to penetrate our psyches. They influence our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. What we have all been programmed to believe is simply not true. The idea that consumerism leads to happiness is a lie that is particularly difficult to recognize when we're young, because that's when our responsibilities are at their lowest point. Hmm. We don't have to worry about supporting ourselves, raising a family, paying for our children's education, rising healthcare costs, or retirement when we're young. All these things seem like distant obligations when we're young. They seemingly don't apply to us. During this period of relative irresponsibility, we derive the most joy from our toys, but this doesn't last. I love my iPhone, says the author. I enjoy a great bottle of wine. I still buy clothes I don't need, and I get a certain sense of joy from most of the things I purchase. However, at some point, further consumption becomes pointless. More importantly, it can harm us. How many suits does a man need? How many pairs of shoes does a woman need? How big does anyone's house need to be? As we get older, we begin to realize that we can't take our toys with us. We begin to understand that our gadgets won't pay the rent. They won't put food on the table. They won't help us provide for those we love. They won't allow us to retire and maintain our dignity and independence. They won't allow us to travel and see the world. Only when we begin to focus on our broader, more long term needs do we begin to recognize how truly unimportant our material possessions really are. Muhammad Ali, American professional boxer, said, "The greatest victory in life is to rise above the material things that we once valued most." Wow. He talked about his teeth here and there, a cavity here and there. Mark Cuban, serial entrepreneur and owner of the Dallas Mavericks, was asked what advice he would give to a 20-year-old. His answer was, "Don't use credit cards. Stay away from credit." Ooh. Beware of the perils of consumerism. Possessions can't bring you long term happiness. We are reading morsels of a thought of wisdom, hopefully, that we know what to do so that we can take action and become people with acts of virtue. And we are reading from the wise man named George J. Chanos in his book Millennial Samurai, Book One, A Mindset for the 21st Century. Regardless of what age you are, if you want to make the most of your one and only life, read Millennial Samurai. Action is magic. Take action now by reading Millennial Samurai and begin to make the most of your one and only life, says George J. Chanos. I, I, there's a lot more there, but we're going to go into balance and harmony in number 29 on page 77. Try to manage your time in a way that allows you to explore and embrace your competing wants, needs, and desires. And desires. Whether you want or need to work or play, focus on your health or family, travel, study, sleep, read or write, enjoy time with your friends, listen to a podcast, go to a concert, or just disengage, try to strike a balance that creates harmony in your life. That is not to say that you should divide your day to achieve balance. Some days may require a greater emphasis on work. Another day may require that you focus more on family or your relationships. Still, another day might be dedicated to rest or relaxation. Balance is not something that is measured in hours or day parts. Instead, it's a general principle that you should incorporate into your entire life. Seek balance throughout your life. This concept is even more important for those who are intensely driven to succeed. The pursuit of professional and financial success requires intensity and commitment, and intense commitment to your work can take a toll on your personal life. It can adversely affect both your personal and professional relationships. Cat's coming out of the bag. Cat out of the bag. Cat is really coming out of the bag. Are you struggling? What the hell? The world is full of people who paid a very high price for their professional and financial success. For many, it has resulted in failed or dysfunctional relationships, the loss of a loved one, even suicide. Don't allow that to happen to you. Relationships are absolutely essential to a happy, successful, and meaningful life, and relationships require nurturing and maintenance. Life is about life is about much more than professional and financial success. I have a friend, Patty Nelson, the late Patty Nelson, who recently passed. And I sincerely regret not having a bigger relationship with her. I don't know how anyway. So I do think that this applies very much to myself as well. Love, says the author, family and friendships are worth far more than the fleeting affirmation of strangers and the needless collection of material possessions. All work and no play will catch up with you, as will all play and no work. Life requires balance. Wants, needs, and desires need to be harmonized and prioritized. A balanced life allows you to get the most out of your one and only life. Ralph Waldo Emerson. I used to have a book that's by him. Anyway, Ralph Waldo Emerson, American essayist, lecturer, philosopher, and poet, said, "To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics, and to endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave a world to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded." This is why I do morsels of a thought, because the parrot is trying to struggle to get out of the bag. Excuse me while I go and check on her. What the heck is she doing? My cats are female, and I don't have my glasses here. What in the world are you doing? Are you tangled in there? Are you okay? Huh? Are you okay? Yeah, you're okay. You're fine. Oh, she's just playing. Okay, this is the wild one. She, she, uh, she's a little antisocial, but when gets down, she gets down. And, she's just playing in that paper bag of Amazon paper bag. Okay, back to the book. We are reading Millennial Samurai, Book One, A Mindset for the 21st Century, on Morsels of a Thought of Wisdom, number 1696. Okay, Health, number 30, page 79. John F. Kennedy, 35th President of the United States, said, "Physical fitness is not only one of the most important keys to a healthy body, it is the basis of dynamic and creative intellectual activity." Hmm. Your health is essential to leading a happy, successful, and meaningful life. Increase your energy level and it will increase your attention, focus, decision making ability, and overall productivity. Successful people don't skip meals or go without sleep. They view food as fuel, sleep as recovery, and breaks as an opportunity to think and regain focus. When we're young, we have more energy. We sometimes feel invincible. My own example is I stayed up once for 48 hours, and then another time I stayed up again for 48 hours, but I pushed it to 55 hours. Can you imagine how tired I felt? It was horrible. And I was lucky that I didn't drive at that time because they say that having been awake 17 hours is almost worse than driving drunk. That's what they say. So, back to the book. George J. Chanos says, when we're young, we have more energy. We sometimes feel invincible. This can cause us to take greater risks with our health. Bungee jumping, cliff diving, and hang gliding are all examples of the kind of risk taking that may seem more acceptable when we're young. We're also likely to be more sexually active and engage in excessive drinking and drug use when we're young. Failing to eat properly can result in weight gain and erode your self esteem or lead to diabetes, heart attacks, and strokes. Smoking can lead to lung disease and cancer. All of these activities create risks that have the potential to adversely impact your health. You need to cherish and protect your health. Some of the choices that you make when you're young can impact the quality of life, your quality of life for decades. Others can forever change your life. Pay attention to your health. You have only one body and it needs to last a lifetime. Now, he's got 12 points here. Get sufficient sleep. Eat healthy. Avoid sugar. Exercise. Take the stairs. Watch your weight. Avoid smoking. Avoid excessive drinking and drug use. Use precautions when having sex. Spend time in nature. Breathe deeply. Meditate. My young friend Daniel Bissonnet, age 14, has written a wonderful book called Daniel's Breakfast Burst. At 14, he already speaks internationally and is quickly becoming an authority on nutrition. Learn more at danielbissonette.com. DanielBissonette.com. Okay, now this section is about money. I'm going to read this. Epictetus, the Greek philosopher, said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having fewer wants. We've read that. Life, says the author here, George J. Chanos says, life is not about money. Think of money as a means to an end, not as an end in itself. Money can't buy you love or happiness, and you can't take it with you. Benjamin Franklin, American scientist, inventor, politician, and diplomat, said, money never made a man happy yet, nor will it. The more a man has, the more he wants. Instead of filling a vacuum, it makes one. When Alexander the Great was dying, he gave 3 instructions for his burial. The first was that only the best doctors be allowed to carry his coffin. The second was that his treasures and possessions should be spread along the path of his funeral procession to the grave. And the third was that his hands be allowed to swing freely at his sides and be open and exposed for all to see. Why did the greatest and most powerful man of his time leave these instructions? He wanted the people to see that even the best doctors were powerless to stop death, that riches obtained on earth stay on earth, and that we are born empty handed and we die empty handed. Money pays the bills. It allows you to avoid harsh hardship and makes life more comfortable. It can provide increased independence and freedom. It can be a blessing or a curse. Respect it, but don't worship it. Studies show that when you spend money on others and on experiences, you become happier. So, give generously and spend your money on experiences rather than on things. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, 32nd President of the United States, said, happiness is not in the mere possession of money. It lies in the joy of achievement, in the thrill of creative effort. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, this part here is short too, but I don't know that we have that much time to read it. So the next part we're going to read next week will be Don't Be a Victim. Nora Ephron, American journalist, writer, and filmmaker, said, above all, be the heroine of your life, not the victim. You know, there are several books where the heroine commits suicide. Madame Bovary, uh, Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House. Um, well, Madame Bovary was by Gustave Flaubert, and he wrote about a woman who couldn't stand her husband for being boring, and he didn't consummate the marriage that they had for a very long time because he didn't know what that was about. So Madame Bovary goes around having flings and she gets into debts and then she goes looking for the richest ones to go back to help her pay her debts. She is not in the least aware of her prostitution, says the author Gustave Flaubert. And yet we call her the heroine of the book because when she dies, she is refusing to stay in this life of no meaning, no sex, and tons of boredom. In A Doll's House by Henrik Ibsen, something very similar happens. Uh, the woman also refuses to stay in this life. So be the heroine, not the victim, but do not commit suicide, for God's sake. I said this because even even that can be called a heroine, but those are stories. We don't want to do that in real life. We want to stay here and make the most of your one and only life. Okay, old Kinderhook.